What's up guys, Itchy here. So, doing a video on Frontier Hunter. Basically just going to be giving some tips and then basically just going into regular gameplay. Only because I think this is kind of free flow. I can kind of give you tips as I go along. General tips on how to get high scores, but otherwise it'll just mostly be gameplay. So, first of all, with this first squad, I just wanted to note that I do have Cephia in there only because I do not have another dark unit that has an area of effect Brave Burst, so I didn't want to throw in like Liko or something like that just because she would be a waste in this squad. That area of effect Brave Burst is really, really important, especially when you're going against multiples like this. So yeah, first thing you want to get to, you want to go ahead and use an attack potion on this first stage. That's going to get all your attacks up, get you doing more damage. And as you can see, I have Motomasas on everybody, and that's only because I wanted to test it out. I think it'll do okay because I'm only doing the middle and not the end, so I don't really need the extra defense. So the other thing I'm going to do here is I'm going to use 3 Fujin potions on my 3 highest Brave Bursters, which would be both Magruses and Kukuri. Now, why do this? Because you can one-shot and do a ton of damage on all, so we're going to go ahead and do that first off. And I'm actually going to make sure I get some overkill points in there too, so I'm going to select Mimir, and everyone else is going to go ahead and attack her. So, let's get this started here. So I'm going to put those Magruses back to back so hopefully they can spark. And we're going to use Kukuri. And then we're going to throw these out. So as you can see, they're massive, massive, massive damage on the first turn, taking everybody out with us, and we should get a really nice score here on the first turn. Even got Sheeta's Brave Burst through that. Almost got the other Magruses back, and let's just see what kind of score we get here on the first turn. 85k, not too shabby. I've actually gotten higher, but I think that was on like a Bernie squad or something like that. So not too shabby for the first round, and now we have our second round. Now when you have multiples like this, the first thing you want to do is you want to try and bring them down as low as possible. Save all your Brave Bursts because you're going to basically do the exact same thing you did last time. I don't think I should have a trouble as far as defense goes, even though there's two light units here. So before I use any items, I'm going to see if I can get them down low enough without having to use any items, because you do want to try and get that item bonus if possible. So I'm going to throw out a few testers here just to see how much damage they're going to do on Pegasus. I'm not really sure. So right there, pretty decent damage. Not even going to touch him with anybody else right now. Gonna go ahead and do the same thing here. I'm using my lower attackers to be able to test the waters here. So we're gonna test out Luna. Plus we're getting those opposite type attacks. And there we have a critical hit, so that actually did more damage than I was planning. And then we'll throw the last 2 here on Mifune, and we'll see how he does. He actually took a little more damage, so what I'll do is next turn I will attack with Kukuri and Cephia again on him because I know that'll get him low enough. The ideal range to get their HP to would be about, I'm going to say 10%. That's usually where you're going to get the most out of that overkill bonus. But if you think you're going to actually kill them, then the better idea would just be to play it safe, because you can still get a high score even if you don't get as much overkill. And the idea here is just to get the most, obviously, and be able to get all those items if you have not gotten them yet. So that was Kukuri and Cephia. I'm going to try and spread them out a little bit so that they don't spark and do too much damage. And as you can see there, he is about, he's got about a quarter life left. So it's about 25%. That's not exactly what I was aiming for, but we'll see what kind of damage we do on this Zahak here. Nothing crazy, so I will go ahead and attack with Magrus. See how far he gets down. Okay. And I think Lemmy is weak enough that it's not going to make a difference here, so I'm going to go ahead and use her too. Hopefully it does not kill. Okay, good. Perfect. So that worked out perfectly. Unfortunately, I may have to go ahead and use items here. It's really going to come down to this. I have to think about this now, because I know I'm going to kill everybody with Brave Burst. I know the 4 of them should be enough to kill with Brave Burst without a problem. The only thing is, which is going to be more? The item bonus, not using item bonus, or using extra Brave Burst to get extra overkill? I'm going to say the item bonus only because I don't think the overkill will be significant enough. And that actually saves me 2 Brave Bursts for next time too. So we're going to go ahead and do that and see how it looks. So there we have very nice damage, taking out everybody at once. Not really the desired spark that I was looking for. Maybe I'll try a different pattern next time, but we did manage to take out everybody in that turn. And managed to heal everyone basically back up, especially with this chest here. And maybe other Sephia will get her Brave Burst. No, not quite. But we do have 1 Brave Burst waiting for us. Let's see what kind of points we ended up with here. 72. Not too shabby. We're on our way. Sometimes you'll get luckier and the battles will be against really easy stuff, so you can really rack up the points. Doesn't always happen that way. So here we have Nymphs. This is going to be a little bit more challenging, not knocking them out. I can't do like I did in the first round, or else that would be very easy if I had 3 more Fusion Potions, but obviously I don't. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to try and deal some decent damage here without knocking them out. So I'm going to throw out a tester here with Lemia. She actually, that's a shame, she criticaled, so that is going to affect our points a little bit there. That's a shame, but she is my weakest attacker, but I wanted to get that same type attack too. If she hadn't criticaled there, that would have been a perfect play, but unfortunately it did not work out that way. So I'm going to do the same thing here with Sephia. I know that she's not going to kill off anybody. She's not strong enough, because she's not getting a leader bonus or anything like that, so let's see who else we can damage here. We'll try this Earth Nymph, try and keep track of who we're working on here. So he actually did a lot of damage to that Earth Nymph, which I'm going to expect the other Magris to do the same to the Fire Nymph. Just barely lived. That was very lucky. So then this Water Nymph will go ahead and use Kakuri. I guess that's something to say for the Muramasa. That actually did end up causing a little problem there. If I didn't have those on, those units would not have died so fast, so maybe not the best decision for the middle, and maybe, I don't know, I haven't tried it in the end yet, so we'll see how that goes too. Right now, what we're really looking at is that we're going to be able to Brave Burst and take everybody out here. I don't think I can get anybody else lower without killing them, so there's really no point in doing anything else with that, and we're going to get the no item bonus as well, so I'm going to go ahead and use all 3 Brave Bursts and overkill on, see, we don't have a light unit, so it really doesn't matter who I overkill on, except for I'll look for one that's low, and that was the Fire Nymph, because I want the extra overkill points. So we will go ahead and throw out our 3 Brave Burst. And then attack with the other 3 as normal. Very decent spark there, not too shabby. Not so much spark at the end, but we did have a nice little run there for a second. And look at all the Brave Bursts we just got back. Almost everybody has a Brave Burst. Everybody healed back to the full. Very nice. See what we did point-wise. So that would have been a little higher if we had gotten... if we hadn't killed off that light nymph, but what are you going to do? You get the basic idea anyway. So now when you're dealing with 2 people at once, my suggestion is do not bother going for the multi-kill, because that's really going to end up wasting time. You want to concentrate more on the overkill. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and attack Styla here. I'm still going to save my Brave Burst for the end. I'm going to get them both close enough to death that I can go ahead and use all of my Brave Burst and absolutely destroy them. Also going to try and go for the no item bonus, but I'm not sure how that's going to roll with these guys, because I'm not really... I haven't gone against them yet, so I don't know what kind of damage they're going to be dealing to me. I don't know if I'm going to have to use any of my attack or defense elixirs. So, decent damage there, nothing crazy. And the only thing, like I said, I'm going to look out for, I guess the other thing would be status ailments. If they do cause any, that could be a problem, because that would drag things out longer, or that might actually be a detriment. But it doesn't look like they are doing any of the above, so that's good news. Plus, they're really not doing any damage, and I think some of that has to do with the extra HP boost from both Magresses. So we'll go ahead and attack Styla again the same way. Looks like we did about a quarter of her health last time. So this should get her to about halfway or a little bit under. So that should mean one more round of attacking with these guys should get her low enough. And then we'll start working on Nemia. If they don't pick on anybody, and if they pretty much stick to the outside people, I should be okay and shouldn't have to use any cure items or even be worried about it. They don't seem to be doing a lot of damage anyway. I say that, and as I do, of course, that Brave Burst comes out, but I don't think anybody's low enough that they'll be able to one-shot them unless they can, they aim solely for one person, so I think we're okay on that. So we'll go ahead and do our attack like we were planning. Not too shabby. I may try and get her a little bit lower. But before I do that, I'll see what kind of damage I do against Nemia. Still should be okay. I'm not too worried. Unless they really concentrate on Sheeta, I don't think it's going to be a problem. I may end up eating those words eventually, but I'm going to take a chance here and not worry about using cure items because I want to hold off as long as possible. There's always a chance that they could just concentrate on my other units that have the higher HP, and I won't have to worry about using an item. So as you can see there, we did about a quarter, but not quite a quarter, so she's actually going to take a little bit longer to get through. And of course, Sheeta goes down, so that is a problem. They just did way more damage than I was expecting them to. So yeah, when you're doing this, go the safe route. Don't do what I just did. Unfortunately, Sheeta is down, but I should still be able to recover and take care of business here. So what I'm going to do, since I know I'm not doing a whole lot of damage to Nemia, and since it's going to take a lot of my cure items to get me back up to where I need to be, especially since I have those status ailments going, I'm going to go ahead and use an attack potion here. I'm going to use a defense potion here, and we're going to go ahead and wail on Nemia and get her low enough. I did not account for how much damage she really would be doing, so that is a problem. However, it shouldn't really affect us too much going forward as long as we're careful from now on, because we already lost the item bonus, so I know that I can still use my heals, and if I really do need to get rid of those status ailments, I'll do that too with the pure elixirs. The only reason I'm saving them is because in case I run into somebody who can paralyze, that really is the most crippling part. When you run into somebody who can paralyze and they really do that, that ridiculous paralyzation, and there's just nothing you can do to stop it because you don't have the elixirs, that's what's really, really crippling. So we'll go ahead and attack Nemia, get her nice and low, and then on our next turn, I have to see how low what's her name is. I may try and get them a little bit lower before I try this again. The only problem is their area of effect is doing a lot of damage, and that's not really what I wanted to deal with. Especially since I only have 3 elixirs left, and I will be dealing with another squad still. For the sake of moving on in the video, I may actually just end these guys' lives here, instead of trying to drag it out one more. Actually, you know what? I'm going to take a chance here. I'm going to go ahead and make sure I can get the most out of this healing, and make sure Sephi doesn't take any more damage. So I'm not going to heal up Magris because I know he can survive. That's not a big deal. So I'm going to use these last 3 cures here just to make sure that I can get the most points out of this. We'll go ahead and use two of our attackers on Nemia. Get her a little bit lower. Same thing with Styla here. And I could actually probably attack with one more person here on Nemia. She does seem to have a higher defense, so I do want her to be lower than Stya. So now they should be low enough that it shouldn't be a problem when I use these Brave Bursts and actually get a decent amount. I could probably take them lower, but for the sake of surviving and getting farther in this video, I'm going to go ahead and take care of business here. Now I do have 3 attack elixirs left, so let's see here. I can't really tell if they run out. I lost track of turns. It says the defense is still up, but I don't see the attack showing up. They should be fine anyway. I'm not too worried. The only thing is I'm going to go ahead and get rid of this status element on Kukuri so she can do her maximum amount of damage. Leaving me with 6 pure elixirs, which should be enough if I do run into anybody else that can paralyze. So we'll go ahead and throw out these Brave Bursts and finish things up here. Now, if we had Sheeta there, that would have been a little bit easier. I probably would have been able to take them lower, and I'd probably get a higher overkill bonus. But you know, you take with what you take what you can get. So not bad there. We got some healing back for it too. So now in this final boss fight, we may only be facing one person. Or I'm sorry, not one person. 2 people, which may run into the same problem. So I may just defeat them as normal. The points we got so far are high, but not as high as I was aiming for. So we got a whole mess of people, and not a whole lot of items to deal with them. So we're going to do what we can here. Go ahead and throw down an attack elixir and a defense elixir, because we don't have any more healing items. We're going to go ahead and attack Luna, test the waters with Lemia to see... Or actually, I'll test the waters with Sephia to see how far down we can get her. Okay, so she is going to have a few hits to take down, so I'm going to go ahead and attack with the rest. Because she's not going down in one shot. She will get close. Oh, never mind. I spoke too soon. I gotta start taking my own advice. So thankfully, with that defense elixir, we are just taking absolutely no damage, and that is pretty awesome. Usually when you have this many people, obviously, the enemy is not going to be dealing nearly as much damage. So we'll go ahead and try and get Mifune down pretty low here. Test the waters with these 3. Obviously, since it's not the same type, it's not doing as much damage as before, but it's still doing a decent amount of damage. So my basic thought is I want to get them low so I can use everyone's Brave Burst, and it looks like the defense elixirs are going to keep me in this for the most part. I don't know how much their other attacks are going to do, but we'll find out. And then I guess I'll start working on Lario next. So it looks like this shouldn't be too much of a problem. Always nice to see those 1s when you're getting attacked, because that just makes you feel like you really stand a chance here. And I believe that was turn 2. So 1 more turn of these elixirs, and then I'll have to use another one. I'll try and remember that this time. So let's go ahead and throw out these 3 to see how much damage we can do to Lario. Get some decent spark, get him pretty low. He could actually probably survive these 2 hits as well. I'm going to throw him out one at a time, only because I don't want to take the chance of KOing him like I did to Luna. I don't think Sephi is going to be enough to kill him. That would be pretty impressive if she could, but she's not getting the leader skill bonus, so I really don't see that happening. So Lario's pretty low now, that's good. I'm going to say he's probably at about 20%, which is all you can really ask for here. Okay, so let's go ahead and work on Zeger now. And I'm actually going to go ahead and use these attack and defense potions again now that it's been 3 turns. Oops. Oh, 4 turns. You know what? It helps to read sometimes. I wish I had read that before. So those are 4-turn items, and I thought they wouldn't let you use them another turn, but I don't know if they stack. I highly doubt they do, but if they do, that would be pretty awesome. Either way, very interesting. I'm going to say that was a decent amount of damage there. Going to do the same thing I did with Lario. Just get him low enough. Don't think Sephi is going to have enough to kill him unless she crits, and even if she does, I don't think that's going to be enough either. And she, of course, crits. Still not enough, though. That was actually perfect. That worked out, because that got him right where I wanted him. He's actually ready to be attacked and destroyed. So, there we go. We finally have some status ailments. I'm glad I saved those pure elixirs. Go ahead and help Sephi out there. Now let's work on Zephu. Throw these 3 out. His defense seems to be higher, so I'm going to go ahead and use Lemia and Sephi at the same time to try and spark. Actually did not end up sparking at all there. Completely out of sync. But that's okay. What I'll probably do is I'll use them again on Zephu, and then we'll go ahead and start working on Whis. So this time I will attack and stagger them a little bit so I can try and get a little more spark, just because I don't think they're going to kill him. Just barely hung on. Perfect. And now we'll start on Whis. I'm actually wondering how this battle would have gone if I had left Luna in the battle, because Luna may have actually done some decent damage to me only because she is opposite type. She may have actually made this fight a little bit harder than it is, and put me in a little bit of danger, but good thing she didn't. No big deal. I'm gonna go ahead and try a different one here. They actually just barely missed killing him, so I'm not going to use Kakuri on this one. I'm going to use Lemia instead since she is weaker, and this should actually bring him low enough but not kill him. Perfect. So let's see if anyone has a decent amount of health left. The only one I'm looking at here, I can't use Sephi on Mifune, and I have a feeling Kakuri, if she accidentally criticals him, will kill him. The only one I'm thinking I could weaken a little bit more is Lario, and I don't think Sephi is going to be able to kill him. I'm going to take a chance here. I'm going to guard with Kakuri. I'm going to try and get Lario a little bit lower. And she criticals. I must have a magic axe on her. But you know what? That worked out because it did not kill him. Very cool. So next turn we should be able to finish things up here. And we'll see what kind of score we're getting. My voice is kind of fading a little bit here. This is actually the second video I'm doing back to back. I actually just did a Carl capture vid, and that one was pretty long. So, yeah, my voice is kind of giving out on me here. Probably should have selected Mifune to try and get that same type as well with Sephi. But no big deal. I don't think it would have mattered since it's all area of effect anyway. Lots of spark there. Very nice multi-kill. So even without Sheeta, this worked out pretty well. And let's see what kind of score we ended up with here. You know you're doing something right when you could back-to-back Brave Burst. So there we have it, a savior round, 95k on that last round. Obviously you can see not my best score ever, but at the same time you deal with the rounds you're given. Sometimes you aren't given Burmese, sometimes you aren't given a Jewel Ghost or whatever. So you gotta kind of deal with the rounds you're given and do what you can. Made a few mistakes in there, but at least I was able to explain what not to do. If anything, you can learn from my mistakes and say, okay, well, now I know not to do that, and kind of go from there. But we still did end up with a decent score. 400k, close to my last score, but not quite there. So still a triple S, not too shabby. Decent Zell, decent Karma, some Frontier points, and there you have it. So yeah, that pretty much does it for this video. I hope you were able to learn a little something. If you have any other questions, make sure to leave them down in the comments, or if you have something to add, something I left out, because I'm sure there's plenty, make sure to put that down in the comments too. And if you're interested in coming and talking all things Brave Frontier, make sure to like the Facebook page. I will be putting a link in the description, so go check that out. And don't forget to like, favorite, and subscribe. Take it easy, guys.